Sawmill owner in Western New South Wales fear they're destroying the Pilliga forest just to meet their timber contracts. The long-term contracts mean the millers have to cut down smaller and smaller logs, even saplings. And while it's legal, the mill fears it's ruining the future of the forest. From Barradine, here's our National Environment reporter, Jake Sturmer.
For the last 60 years, these forests have virtually been home for Paul Hyde, his father and his grandfather. But he fears he might be the last generation in his family to make a living from these forests.
If there's not some sort of change in management, then we will eventually run into a point where we don't have any resource to keep working with.
Effectively destroying the forest?
Effectively, yeah.
And this is the end result. Paul Hyde is under pressure to find enough logs of the bare minimum size to meet the demands of the local sawmill. These logs are on their way to the Barradine sawmill, and while they are of the smallest legal size, the sawmill's owners say they're being forced to accept more and more saplings, hampering the long-term regrowth of the forest.
Well, we're very concerned about the health and the longevity of the forest. It's got to be there forever.
10 years ago, the New South Wales Forestry Corporation signed contracts with the local sawmill to provide a certain amount of timber of a certain size. But the sawmill's owners say the wood they were promised just isn't out there.
Workers have told me this area has been so heavily logged it could take up to 100 years before anything in here could ever be harvested again. They're trying to work out why it's been allowed to happen and what to do next.
While the sawmill seeks answers, in the meantime, contractor Paul Hyde has to go over areas that have already been logged.
We'll just come back to try and see if there's anything here worth their time and effort to harvest.
Have you found much?
Not a lot at this stage. You've got a lot of borderline material. There's a lot of defect in the timber here, which makes it difficult to try and put a machine through and get a product out of it.
While Paul Hyde is optimistic, less so are the owners of the Barradine sawmill. The family says its Gunnedah mill shut down due to a lack of timber, and that dispute is now in mediation with authorities. They don't want it to happen again, so they've called on strange bedfellows, the Greens.
When you talk to the operators, you talk to the mill owners, they're every bit as much a victim of this as the forest. They don't want to be doing this to the forest. They know that this has destroyed the future, the financial future of their industry.
The Greens and the mill's owners want a buyback, but that seems unlikely. When we tried to interview the Minister for Primary Industries, Niall Blair, and show him what was happening in the Pilliga, he declined. And a spokeswoman says the Minister believes Western New South Wales harvesting is sustainable. The Minister's offered the mill's owners an independent review of the timber that's out there, but they say there isn't enough time. They fear they'll be out of logs and potentially business by Christmas. Jake Sturmer, ABC News, Barradine.